One of the things I've discovered on the media and content side of things is that a lot of people don't know what clickbaiting means. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a perfect example of clickbaiting and why this makes everyone as a whole in the media industry look bad. My name is James Lynch. So if you remember back on November 27th, Khamzat Chimaev put this tweet out here. He says, "See you after Ramadan, Nassourdine Imavov." That's the handle right there. "You have time to work on your wrestling." Cool. That makes sense. Imavov does seem like he should be next. It looked like maybe Reiner de Ritter was going to leapfrog him for a title shot when he was scheduled to fight Anthony Hernandez. Hernandez is out. Brendan Allen steps in. Brendan Allen beats Reiner de Ritter in an upset. He gets the victory. So it's like, okay, well, Brendan Allen's not going to get the title shot because Imavov already beat him. And it didn't seem like the UFC was too eager to give Imavov the title shot for a variety of reasons. I really don't know what those are, but they just decided, okay, well, we got to give it to Imavov now. He already has a win over Allen. He beat Caio Borralho. Imavov makes sense, and Chimaev sort of confirms this. It's all good. But fast forward to today, December 9th. I'm in my live chat today answering questions. Someone says, "Hey, did you see Khamzat Chimaev's not going to fight? He's not going to fight Imavov." And I go, "Why? Like he's the next contender." "Oh, it's because they're Muslim. They don't want to fight each other." I said, "Oh, okay, well." Where did he say this? "Oh, it was the ESPN interview." And I didn't have a chance to watch the interview. I was like, okay, so, whatever. And then I see this on social media. And by the way, this isn't the only page doing this. I've seen a couple pages do this as well. It says, "Khamzat Chimaev will not fight number one contender Nassourdine Imavov." The key word here is will not fight. I thought, wow, this is strange. He just said a couple weeks ago that he was going to fight him. What's up with that? Here's the quote. "I don't want to fight him. He's a good guy. We know each other." And you can see that repeated here as well in the quote board as well. I thought, okay, well, that's weird. I said, you know what? I'm going to go check out the actual interview and see what he says here. And that's what we're going to do right now. This is the interview with Brett Okamoto. Shout out to ESPN for putting in timestamps in the description so we can actually know where he's talking about. So here's what Chimaev says in regards to a fight with Nassourdine Imavov next. Let's take it away. Brett Okamoto, let's go.
Imavov is the top one right now. Do you feel like you already know how that fight is going to go? You have trained with him, right? But I'm not sure how much.
Yeah, we didn't train MMA. We just wrestled a bit. My wrestling skills, but I don't know.
Okay, so he's talking about his wrestling, but let's get to the part in this where he talks about the fact that they're both Muslim and they do know each other and they like each other. Let's get to that part.
If you ask me, I don't want to fight this guy because he's like, we know each other.
So first off, he says, "I don't want to fight this guy." So the quote here is actually wrong. It says, "I don't want to fight him. He's a good guy." But he says, "I don't want to fight this guy," unless he says it later. But let's find out here. Let's get the full quote.
Like a Muslim, and he's from Dagestan. You know how it's Dagestan, Chechen people so it will be like a lot of drama and the internet or this shit thing.
And if you didn't catch that, because I know it's hard for him to say, he says basically Dagestan and Chechnya. He's from Chechnya. Dagestan is where Imavov's from. He said, they don't get along, right?
So I don't like about it. But if you see wants it, I never gonna say no. If the guy wants it, I tell his manager as well, "Hey, brother, if Mamo Nassourdine wants, I would be open." If he says he can.
If Nassourdine wants it, I would be open to it. That's what he says. He doesn't say, "I'm not going to fight him." Okay? That's what he says right there. It's hard to hear him, but if you hear the full quote, he says, I'm open to it, right?
Wait till I move up. I will be wait. I'm not going to say, "No, I want to fight this guy." No, so.
I'm not going to say, "No, I don't want to fight this guy." That's the quote right there. He does not say he does not want to fight him. That's the full quote.
For me, it doesn't matter. Whatever he decide, she decide. We'll see. There is a lot of other guys as well. Strickland win against him. So maybe they can do rematch, or I can fight Strickland, or I can fight the leader, or I don't know, whoever.
Well, come on. You're not fighting de Ritter. De Ritter's just coming off loss. But look, okay, so basically what Chimaev says in this clip here is he's like if you watch the whole interview, he talks about how he wants to fight Pereira. And whatever, shoot for the stars. It's a big fight. Understandable. The title of this video is correct. It says Chimaev says he'll fight one more at 85 before moving up, sure, whatever. I think it's a little too quick. You just won the title. Might want to let that marinate a little bit and then move up to fight Pereira. But also Pereira's getting older. I understand that. But he's shooting for the stars to want to fight Pereira. Any fighter has a right to do that. He's not saying, "I am not defending this title. I am going to only move up and fight Alex Pereira." That's not what he says here at all. But getting back to the task at hand, which is this quote here, it says, "I don't want to fight him. He's a good guy. We know each other." You didn't include the whole quote. The whole quote says, and we'll play it one more time, is that I am open to it. I will fight him. There's nowhere in here he says he doesn't want to fight him. He says, I don't want to fight him in the sense of, you know, like they're friends, they like each other, but there's nowhere that he says, I will not fight him. I don't want to fight him is different than I will not fight him. So let's go back and hear this one more time just to make sure the people in the back heard this one, even though there's no one in the back. I have no audience.
But if she wants it, I'm never gonna say no.
If the UFC wants it, I'm never going to say no. That's the one quote. And then if we go back even further, let's hear the other one.
Like start Chechen people, like so it will be like a lot of drama on the internet or all these shit things. So I don't like about it. But if she wants it, I'm never gonna say no.
I got to go back a little.
Ask me, I don't want to fight this guy because he's like, we know each other. Like,
I don't want to fight this guy. Again, he says it one more time there. I don't want to fight this guy. Not, I will not fight this guy. Different.
Like a Muslim, and he's from Dagestan. You know how it's Dagestan, Chechen people, like, so it will be like a lot of drama on the internet or all these shit things. So I don't like about it. But if she wants it, I'm never gonna say no. If the guy wants it, I tell his manager as well, hey, brother, if.
So he says, if the guy wants it, referring to Imavov, and then here's the quote. It was actually after, not before. I messed that up, but let's hear him.
Nassourdine wants, I will be open. If he says he can wait till I move up, I will be wait. I'm like not gonna say no. I want to fight this guy. No.
I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to fight this guy. So he says here, I want to move up. I mean, in a perfect world, he's kind of mapping things out. Like, if I can fight Pereira first and then come back and fight him, I'll do it. But there's nowhere here where he says, I will not fight Imavov. So that's the full
I mean, it
quote.
doesn't matter. What
It doesn't matter.
He decide, she decide.
UFC decides.
We'll
there
see.
we go. There's nowhere here he doesn't say it. And people are catching on. If you read the comments, people are seeing right through this. And this is the problem with new media now, because unfortunately what's happened is you have these pages that are like, yes, they're outlets, but they're not a lot of these, outlets out here. And again, I don't want to just single out this, outlet here, because there's other ones that do the same thing. They're pages. They're not like legitimate media outlets. These are not outlets that get UFC credentials and go to events. There are a lot of outlets that basically take stuff from other sites. So like if MMA Junkie or MMA Fighting, or in the case of ESPN MMA here, they're the ones doing the Chimaev interview. They're not interviewing Chimaev. They're just grabbing the stuff from ESPN and reposting it. They're like parrot sites, right? Like they're basically just taking what someone else said and then putting it in their own words, which is this day and age, that's how a lot of companies are. That's fine. But the problem is they lump them in with everyone else and they can get away with it because like who's going to come after this company for having an incorrect quote on here or not including the full quote? But anyways, let's read the comments here. Some people fell for it. Like here, people got to stop with this won't fight friends and good people BS. If you want to stay champ, you have to fight them. Like they tricked this guy, but that's not what he said. He said he would fight him. I will kill everybody. And then someone's laughing. Again, he didn't say he didn't want to fight him. Oh, good. I'm sure that answer will hold up for Dana. Well, it will, because he just said in the full quote that it's what the UFC wants. Well, then if the UFC wants this fight and he won't take it, I guess he has to drop the belt. That's not what he said. But again, I can understand how people are confused because all you have is the quote here. And here's another thing that drives me nuts. There is no link or reference to the actual interview. Like if someone saw this just randomly on the internet, they would think that they did the interview. But there's nowhere in this graphic, nowhere in the tweet that says via ESPN MMA, which has become common practice. But really, that's also kind of garbage because if you want to watch the full interview, you have to look for it. Here's the full interview. It's right here. ESPN MMA. That's where the full interview is. Okay. But if we go down a bit further, people... there we go. F this page. Where's the rest of the quote? He said he'll fight him. Exactly. How is it that J45469242, which is basically like a bot page, has more common sense than most of the people actually, replying in here? That's when you know things are bad. He says he will if the UFC wants him to. Correct. All these bot accounts actually know what's up. This guy, he will do what he's told. No, it's not. He never said he won't fight him. Great journalism, twisted the whole convo. And again, this is the problem, is that like an MMA Fighting does this, they're going to get in trouble. They're going to, people are going to come after them and they actually have like standards, right? A lot of these sites don't. They can do whatever they want. They never delete the, I talk about this all the time with fake fight announcements that they'll say a fight's in the works and then it doesn't end up happening. And there's no like, hey, by the way, this didn't happen. Here's how you do this properly. Shout out to Homo Fight. And yes, I work for them, but they do a much better job. Let's read this. This is a much better version of this. Homo Fight, an actual outlet, in my opinion, that they do have UFC credentials. They are good when it comes to media. They have a lot of reputable people working for them that do great work. Khamzat Chimaev doesn't want to fight Nassourdine Imavov because of the relationship with other countries. Doesn't want I don't want to. Doesn't want, I don't want to. Let's read the rest of it. He's a good guy. We know each other. He's from Dagestan. There's going to be a lot of drama. But if the UFC wants it, they're not going to say no, and they credit it. This is the difference between doing it right and doing it wrong. Right, wrong. Right, wrong. Anyways, I'm just having fun with this. But yeah, this is an example of clickbait. And this goes back to the, what I've kind of said from the onslaught. Like, I understand why people don't like the media, because unfortunately everyone gets lumped in together. This gets lumped in with ESPN MMA. It gets lumped in with everyone else. Like, there's people doing good work and there's people that aren't doing the proper work, and everyone's lumped in together. So when people say they hate the media, it's not really the same thing, because there are legitimate outlets that actually, like I said, get credentialed from the UFC. And then there's people who don't get credentialed from the UFC, and they're just like, any page out there. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video because, again, I don't think what people understand what clickbait means. Hopefully this clears things up. This is absolutely twisting what the quote was to make it look like something it's not. So yeah, that's all I wanted to do in this video. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. How often do you see this happening? Again, I don't want to just single out them, because I've seen other outlets do the same thing, but we got to do a lot better, guys. Come on. Like, if you're going to cover the sport, at least do it properly. So that's all I got to say. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.